Next game is the Saints and the Falcons, and this is a really interesting one. The Falcons beating the Saints 24-15. Derek Carr, 24-38, 304 yards, no touchdowns, an interception. He also had 2 carries for 7 yards. He's kind of in that Gardner Minshew, Baker Mayfield sort of like, you don't want him to be your lock-it-in starter, but he's a decent enough play with the matchups. Alvin Kamara, 15 carries for 69 yards. He also had 4 catches for 50 yards. Keep playing him every single week regardless of matchup. Lynn Bowden had 2 carries for 40 yards. Taysom Hill, just the 7 carries for 26 yards in this one. He also had 2 catches for 55. Good, solid tight end numbers. We'll take that. Just not the huge numbers that we were seeing earlier in the season. Jamaal Williams also had the 2 carries for 6 yards, so I think he's a safe drop at this point. Chris Olave, 7 catches, 114 yards on 9 targets with the A.J. Terrell shadow. Keep playing him every week. He's looking like a really solid play. Alvin Kamara and Olave seem to be the guys that you want to lock into your lineups every week. Taysom Hill is a good argument for that, but I don't think he's consistent enough to have that just yet. Juwan Johnson getting involved more. 4 catches, 45 yards, 7 targets, second on the team in targets. This is really good. I wouldn't say that you want to add him just yet because I don't think this offense is that productive where they're going to have Kamara catching a ton of passes, Chris Olave is going to have a ton of yards, and Juwan Johnson is going to have consistent production on top of that. I just don't really see that happening. But it is interesting to note, though, that with Michael Thomas out, they still kind of need a big body receiver. And if A.T. Perry isn't going to be that, then Juwan Johnson seems like a decent option. Keith Kirkwood had the 2 catches for 20 yards. Rashid Shaheed, interesting that he didn't step up, but you see that a lot with these deep threat guys, that if somebody goes down, they don't really step up in their place. They kind of just maintain their role. We saw that here with Shaheed, 2 catches, 9 yards on 5 targets. A.T. Perry, interesting that he didn't take up that role either, but just a 1 catch for 7 yards. I still think he's an interesting dynasty hold. Jamaal Williams had 2 catches for 4 yards, and Lynn Bowden did not haul in either of his targets. For the Falcons, it wasn't a super productive day, but they got it to the right players. And interesting how you get to the right players and you beat a team that a lot of people didn't really expect you to beat. Desmond Ridder, 13-21, 168 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also had 7 carries for 30 yards. I don't think you want to play Desmond Ridder in really any situation at this point outside of super deep, super flex formats. Bijan Robinson, 16 carries, 91 yards, and a rushing touchdown. He also had 3 catches for 32 yards and a receiving touchdown. He's been getting more consistent work here recently. I think you want to lock him into your lineups. Tyler Allgeier, 10 carries for 64 yards. He did not have any receiving work in this one. I don't think he is an ad. Cordarrelle Patterson getting more involved was good to see, though. 8 carries for 43 yards in this one. Drake London, 5 catches, 91 yards, 7 targets. He's got a high floor. I don't think he's someone you want to plug into your lineup every single week, but definitely worse options available than Drake London. Kyle Pitts, 2 catches for 22 yards on 2 targets. Disappointing stuff here, but it was good to see that Johnny Smith wasn't involved, and Kyle Pitts was only behind Bijan Robinson and Drake London in this one, so that's definitely a positive sign if you're a Falcons fan. Van Jefferson, just the 1 catch for 13 yards. Keith Smith had a catch for 6, and Scotty Miller just had the 1 catch for 4.